Hello, this is Inside the TMC family. My name is Faith Howard Mooney. I am the VP of Member Engagement here at the Mortgage Collaborative, and super lucky today that we have with us not only one of our great lender members in the credit union space, but he's also part of our lender member board of directors, Eric Burgoon. Eric, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me on, Faith.
Yeah, so you are the Chief Lending Officer at Lake Michigan Credit Union. You want to share with us just a little bit about Lake Michigan before we get started?
Sure, we're about a $13 billion credit union located in Michigan and Southwest Florida, and we do a lot of mortgage business, which is why we love being a part of the collaborative. We closed 5.3 billion last year, 5.7 the year before, and I think overall we're the third largest mortgage producing credit union in the country. Just we're operating in those two states.
Fantastic. We love your team being involved with us. You've just added great information, specifically, I mean, with everybody, but because that's a large mortgage operation, no matter what part of the business you're in. But specifically with our credit unions, you've been extremely helpful. So let's get started and know a little bit more about you specifically. What was your first job ever?
My first job was teaching fourth grade survival swimming. I think I was like 15 or 14 in school. I made $2.25 an hour. It's pretty impressive back there, but I'm getting old. So yeah, taught kids how to fall out of a canoe and not drown, and a little bit on how to swim. And then shortly after that, I really moved up in the making a little bit more money, painting and assembling chicken coop and farm equipment. So pretty exciting jobs to start with. So.
Oh, I always say that there are some jobs, although the swimming as a kid in the summer, that might be kind of cool. Some of your first jobs teach you more about what you don't want to do long term than,
Yeah.
than what you want to do long term sometimes.
Yeah, I got out of the chicken coop assembly business.
Yep. So how then from there, how did you end up in mortgage?
Well, I actually went through school as I have a degree, which my family would not believe, but as an engineer, which I'm terrible at. So I ended up going back to business school. So when I was at Northwestern Business School in Chicago, I got interested in financial services marketing in general. So I was not, like most of us, not really ever planned to go into the mortgage business. But when I kind of came down to working for either American Express or Travelers or some banks, I ended up going to work for Citibank Mortgage, which was in St. Louis. And, just by the fact that it was marketing in my sort of field, financial services. And that was 35 years ago. So.
Yeah. And the shift from marketing then actually into the lending space, did you just naturally kind of progress through the business as you learned more? Share with us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I did. So I was in kind of one of those typical management training programs where you rotate around for every 3 to 6 months. And basically what ended up happening was the refinance boom of, I think it was 1993. There was all these phone calls were coming in from servicing. Nobody knew what to do. And my boss, who was the chairman of the bank at that time, said, hey, just go hire some people and see if you can figure this out. So we set up a small telemarketing team and started just taking refi calls. So that's kind of how I got into the production and lending side of the business. And that market just sort of overwhelmed everybody, but we very quickly were doing hundreds of millions of dollars and ultimately billions. And it really kind of turned into a pretty good, sort of really the beginning of customer retention businesses, for Citibank for sure. And that's of course now become a material part of our businesses everywhere. So.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I moved from the banking space into mortgage in 92, kind of for that very same crazy reason that it was busy and people were looking for people. So I remember that well.
Yeah,
As
we all say
well.
nobody goes into the mortgage business on purpose, and you're either out of it in about 2 months or you're in it for life. And I'm a
Yeah.
life.
Or it gets in your blood. I always say it's in your blood. You try to leave even sometimes and you end up back in the space for sure. So back in the day when you started, are thinking about it now, is there one thing that you wish that you knew back then that is just very clear to you at this point, and it would have been helpful in your career?
Yeah, I think the thing that sticks out to me is, and I was with a big company. My first job in the mortgage business was with a very large company, right? So I think the thing that I missed and picked up on later was really truly staying close to the customer and close to what's going on in the field. I think in some of these bigger companies, especially, or as we all move up and to have higher level jobs, not really seeing what's going on, at the street level. So people won't necessarily tell you, this is not working well or that's not working well. Well, loan officers will be pretty good about that, right? But not everybody will. And so I try to make sure that I get out. I just intentionally go out and stop in at offices all the time, and ask them what's going on. And invariably the first question is, oh, everything's good, and then I think, no, tell me really what's really going on. What can we do better? And then invariably there's a lot of little things that come out. And if you can fix those little things early by getting that information early, the company will move and run a lot more smoothly. So, kind of getting, I think maybe for me, coming from a big company where all the decisions are sort of made in the proverbial ivory tower, versus getting out and seeing what's really happening, and you can really make people's lives better, and better for the customers, and then ultimately better for the company. Kind of more of a bottoms up as opposed to a top down approach.
Yeah, I started at Norwest, so that dates
Yeah.
me, and then was at a Wells company for 25 years. So I kind of came from that background. I think that is absolutely great advice. We say it all the time here. Some of our best ideas come from our lender members that are at street level for our lender members, but also from our employees internally. Someone has a great idea and it spins into something that is so much bigger a lot of the time and so much more helpful, I think.
No,
So
it's at the core of what TMC is, right? I mean, that's why I was so attracted to the organization, and got involved with Rich, on the early side of this, because it's exactly that's how you, I think, as a company, as an industry, look at things, and that fits very, very well with what I think really works well too. So I'm, very
yeah.
pleased to be part of it.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. If you weren't in mortgage banking, what would you be doing?
Well, if it didn't matter how much, like I got paid or whatever, the thing I would probably do is I'd teach. I would love to be even a elementary school, junior high school kind of teacher. So I like young people, and I've always enjoyed seeing people grow. So I do some mentoring and things on the side, and some of that's we here at the credit union we have always had for years a fourth grade, coincidentally, I guess, is swimming and reading. But well, actually, I guess it's second grade now that I think about it. But we teach kids, make sure they stay on track with their reading skills early on, and so that's probably what I would do if I didn't have to pay my bills and everything or whatever. And if that wasn't it, I would love to work at the athletic department for Michigan State. I'm a huge Michigan State fan, and would love to do whatever for them. Maybe I still will when I retire. I'll try to get in there somewhere.
You never know. You never know. I was just telling Ed the other day that before he retires, he has to have 3 hobbies that don't include me. So maybe it kind of lands in that category, but it's something that you can move into just to have fun with whenever you are done. So last kind of like random question: what do you love to do when you're not working?
Well, I say this started a little bit before the pandemic, but certainly accelerated to that, is that I play pickleball all the time. So one
Oh,
of the fastest growing sports, is good for old people like me. But it's fun. If you haven't played, it's you got to try it. It's a combination of ping pong and tennis, and very social. Can be as competitive as you want it to be, but can be as just fun. So little kids can play it, old people can play it, and it's become pretty competitive. So I do a little bit for fun, a little bit for social, and a little bit competitively too. So it's a
uh,
cool thing. In
yeah,
fact, I
so
got last year we moved into a new house, and We're going to try to get a pool, but that, of course, you couldn't get that done. So I put in a pickleball court in the side of the yard. So
You
right in my house.
did. That is fantastic. That's got to be great for having guests over. That would make
Yeah,
a
yeah.
nice
Finally, it didn't
little
get
extra
finished and
party
painted
thing.
until September. So maybe this summer it'll be get a lot more use.
That is fantastic. Well, thank you so much for doing this with me today and having patience with my technology issues at the beginning of this session. Um, really appreciate you. You've done great things and helped us a lot within the collaborative, and the TMC family really loves you and your team.
Well, thank you. Looking forward to September, right, in Chicago. So we got a
Yep,
pretty got a
September.
good sized group coming to that already. So I think we're gonna have 5 or 6 people probably there at least.
That is fantastic. We've heard that from a number of different people. I think it's going to be a very large conference at Lowe's, September 24th to 27th at Lowe's in Chicago. So we will look forward to
Yeah, my
seeing you and
daughter's
the
actually
team
getting
there.
married August 27th at the same hotel. So
Is that right? Well, so you get to check it. Or no, you'll check it out before we get
I'll check it
there.
out for you. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be looking for any tips related to that. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Eric.
All right. Thanks, Faith.